Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are pumped. We are psyched today. Randy's a little bit upset because, as you guys know, everyone's talking about the same thing today. It's the Microsoft event. We are wanting to have probably an hour and a half show just about the Surface Laptop Studio and how Randy is personally offended by it.
How did they make it worse? I was in the Discord and just complaining the whole time. Like, how did they make it worse?
What is we talking about
I
here?
thought it broke.
Microsoft had a Surface event.
What is everyone talking about today? Nothing but this.
Surface.
Right?
Happy Friday.
Microsoft scheduled an event on iPhone Day. That was dumb of them.
No, this was yesterday.
Wait, what day?
Wait, what did you say?
I mean, one of the last Fridays
today?
of every September for the past however many years, except for last year, has been
Did you say
the most important day of my life.
Did you say iPad Day? What day is it?
No, it's iPhone Day.
Oh my God, iPhone!
Hey! It's not me this year. Finally.
I'm waiting.
West Coast gang, rise up.
I'm not in the West
Oh,
Coast.
you said gang. Gang.
Gang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
I'm sorry, Randy.
I know what's weird is because I beat you all to the pre-order too. That's the weird part.
You did. Randy was Mr. King of pre-orders over here. I had an issue
I was
pre-ordering.
pretty fast.
But yet I still got my phone before any of the other two suckers on this show. So
He did. You jerk. So,
Hold on. What was the time of delivery?
Best Buy opened.
pending.
So I went into Best Buy and they opened 4 minutes early, and I was out of the store at 10 o'clock my time, which was 8 o'clock your time, which was right when you were walking into the Apple store. So
Okay, I was right behind you then, because I accepted the package at precisely 8:02. So
and that was 2 minutes after me.
if I would have stuck my tongue out, I would have won.
Okay, Mr.
Very close.
Owen, what's your face?
Well, I don't feel like I'm going to be that productive right now with iPhone talk or iPad talk, but I will say my 5 minutes of interacting with the device was on a quick Target run, and they had it right there.
Ooh.
And I was like, I grabbed the Pro Max, and I was like, you don't need an iPad mini, Randy. What are you doing? You don't need an iPad. If I was to stick with it. And then I grabbed the mini, and I was like, oh, this feels right. And then I for both cameras, and I obviously they had the other two, but for Pro Max and Mini, the extremes, I then go to cinematic mode. I started doing my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good, you guys. It sucks.
It's not good, no.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it is
I
not good.
have a completely different experience.
No.
Mine's been great.
Please share, because
Yeah.
I'm just whelmed at best, but I'm pretty underwhelmed with it. The bokeh, the
But
artificial
where have you
bokehs
guys tried it?
on the floor? That sounded weird. I'm sorry.
The floor?
Wait. wait.
How do you?
I'm
like,
sorry.
what did you do? Did you point it at yourself or at other people?
I tried it I used my hand, I used my coffee, I used the items I was buying, and I was just kind of, and it lets you, crazy enough, and I saw third-party applications do this for years now with photography, but it let me, in post, also with no humans, just items, tap, and it refocused on that, unless the natural bokeh, because of the aperture, unless it could not actually get that proper lock-in on it, it did its best to compensate for that, which I thought was cool. But it still has that grainy, fuzzy compressed feel, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, and I need to be outside. I get that, so I'm not gonna judge it so harshly. But first impressions, I was like, no. But that macro, holy crap, that's cool. That was so cool.
I got some really impressive shots with the macro already, but I just had a totally different experience with cinematic mode, I guess, because I've been very impressed with it. The first thing I did when I unboxed it and got it all set up was I switched to the front-facing camera, and I just walked around my room and vlogged with it, and it did great. I thought the edge detection was wonderful, and it looked far more cinematic, despite 30 frames a second. But I thought it looked great. I could see myself vlogging with that much more regularly, and I think I want to do a whole video just recorded via cinematic mode.
Wait, a tech video?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
thought it looked really good.
Ooh.
I can't wait.
I was impressed by it, but I'm sad to hear you guys. I will agree that I tried it at the store. So I picked up my iPad and iPhone today from Apple directly, and the first thing I went to was a lineup of iPhone 13s, just because that's where they had me waiting, and I checked the new Red. Drew approved. Red looks
approved.
1,000,000% better.
Wow.
So Randy
looks
did
fantastic.
good. Randy did good
Wow.
getting the product red.
If you're getting a Red 13 or 13 Mini, then yes, those are
Yo,
going
tell
to
me
be
why these
deliciously
colors
red.
today. I grabbed the blue for the regular, and I was like, this is the perfect blue. I saw the.
Oh, you like that?
I saw Sierra blue, and I was like, ew.
I didn't care for Sierra Blue
It's
myself
ugly.
after seeing it in person. It was exactly what I thought, which is like a very light, very grayish shade. A lot of people seem to like it. It's just not for me. But I picked up a Red 13, and I pointed it at Ross with cinematic mode, and I think right now its strength is for precisely what I intend on using it for, which is like vlogging, talking to the camera. That type of setup, I think it's very good at. What I noticed was I panned away from him, and there's like 50 people behind him, and that's when it struggled. It wasn't able to focus on like all of these different faces, and there are all these boxes all over the screen, and it was like, what do I do? What do I do? And that I was like, okay, this feels a little broken. But when I just talked to it like I am when I'm vlogging, that looked wonderful. I think that's like its strongest use case right now is just the talking to the camera thing.
So
but
Drew,
if you start doing tons and tons of people.
How do you feel going from Mini to Pro Max?
Wonderful, but I think it's because of the refresh rate, which somehow beat my expectations. I don't know how, because they were insanely high.
121
my expectations
hertz.
That's what it feels like, because I booted it up. Actually, I was debating, like, at the store. I was like, should I go look at a Pro, or should I wait until I'm live and capture my reaction? And Ross was like, I don't know, just look at it now, just see what the camera acts like. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go look at it real quick. I'm not gonna spend too much time with it. And I just swiped up, and I was like, my eyes fell back in my skull, and I was blown away. I was like, why does it look so smooth? And I even put it next to my iPad Pro, and it feels smoother. Like,
because
it feels
it's
even
new.
higher. It might be because it's new. Other people were saying because it's OLED,
Yeah,
and the
that's
response
definitely
time
it.
of the pixels is higher
That
than an
has to be
LCD
it.
with a backlight. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's the only logical explanation, because it feels way more smooth than my iPad Pro.
Nice.
And it was probably a mistake for me to unbox the Pro Max first, because it made the Mini 6 feel very sluggish and choppy, because now I had gotten used to this extra buttery 120 hertz on my phone, and then I picked up the Mini 6.
In 2
and the form factor's great, and the design is great,
Yeah.
and I it's pocketable. It fits in my pocket.
Ooh. Tell me more about this. Let me see it. I'm going to put it up to the camera. You haven't showed this to me yet.
Okay, for those
I'm still
Look
waiting
at
for
that.
mine.
for the
Oh, I love it.
basically it
Stick
slides
that in
all
that
the way
pocket
in,
there, Drew. Oh, my goodness.
and
That
it's
looks
pretty
so
comfortable.
good.
I can sit down with it. I don't it's not even that bulky, so if you were like sitting on a train or you're in public, you're like, man, I'm gonna be waiting a while. Let me just pull my phone out here and get some work done through the A15 chip. But then every time that home screen loads, it's like, 60 hertz.
He's
Well,
so
Drew,
sad.
do you want
But when
to...
you're coming,
Randy, can you help protect me?
Go ahead.
I think Drew's going to attack me here in a second, but I'm going to say my own truth here. The
Do
first
it.
thing I did on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, when I pulled it out of the box, I did the little setup thing, and then I went straight to the settings app, went into accessibility, into motion, and I limited frame rates. So we're going 60 hertz.
no, I actually recommended you do that. Remember?
I know you did. You did. On the show, live
You
on the air.
texted me. You were like, just for you, Drew.
Yeah. So
Turned
Nick,
it off. Yes, sir.
How was your experience then? Because you don't differentiate between the refresh rate. How is it for you going from a Mini to a Pro Max?
Yeah, his opinion probably is more justified.
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Honestly, I love the Mini.
Nice.
Really?
I love the
Oh,
Mini.
boy.
I also
12
really
Mini.
love the matte black and the stainless steel. Like the matte black and the stainless steel, or the matte back not matte black. Apple, give us some matte
was
black
did
options.
a matte black option come?
Yeah,
Whoa.
the matte back and the
With
stainless
channel
steel.
sponsor D brand.
Channel sponsor MKBHD.
So you like the aesthetics?
The colors, the aesthetics, everything's perfect. The camera bump here is aggressively big. Like, I opened it up from the box, and I opened it up, and it's like, ooh, gosh, that thing's gonna like
it
shoot
stands
me. It doesn't
out.
look bad on camera. Like, I'm looking at it, it doesn't look bad on camera, but in person, it's like
it is.
It's huge. Like, it's the size of your
gargantuan.
fingernails. Like, each one of those holes, and they stand up so far. Like, it's the iPhone back, and then there's the glass bump, and then there's this stainless steel bump, and then there's this sapphire bump with another little metal ring around it, and it's just like,
Nice.
wow. There are just so many bumps going on here.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Did you see a 13 Pro at Best Buy?
I did not see a 13 Pro. I walked into the store. I was the first one in Best Buy.
Okay.
They had my phone waiting for me
one
on the
up.
counter. All he did was check my ID, and then I left. That it was literally like maybe 2 minutes. Him typing on the computer, and then I walked out. I didn't look at anything else. But I've also seen the pictures of that one, and that one on the video, the Pro looks aggressively big, and in person,
the pictures don't justify.
In person, I think
I picked it up at the store. I was like,
Oh, I can't wait.
what the? It looks like it has a tumor. It's like this gigantic bulge coming out the back. Did you guys see the MagSafe Duo complaints?
I did.
No, I didn't.
If you're basically some people are upset because the camera bump on the 13 Pro is so big that it starts to cut in on MagSafe Duo a little bit.
No way.
It still technically charges. Some people were complaining that it doesn't work
No way.
anymore.
Hold on, let me
It
go to my
still
Duo.
works. It's just it's not perfectly flush. On the Pro Max, it's fine. So Nick, you won't have any issues with the Pro Max.
Maybe
but
the Mini.
on the regular Pro, it's a noticeable enough ridge line that it makes sense for them to change MagSafe Duo's design. I would just suggest that Apple, while you're changing it, give it USB-C. That's all I'll say.
Ding, 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 ding.
If we're gonna tinker MagSafe Duo a little bit to accommodate for the bump, just throw Type-C in there. No big deal. Just
And they would have, you know what? They would have to do it regardless because they have to now adjust the Apple Watch charger to be the faster charging as well, because that's something Series 7.
I didn't think about that.
Series 7 is one of its features. It's, hey, here's why you want Series 7, is it also comes with the puck that's even faster charging. So 8 minutes on the charge from 0 will give you about 8 hours to help you track your sleep throughout the night.
I'm not sure if Duo had the overhead to support that. They might. I don't know.
Well, no. What I'm saying is that if they're going to redesign and re-engineer it a bit, not only would USB-C compensate for that, but it would also address Series 7 being able to take the faster charging in. The reason why I don't, but with that, I don't think that's going to happen because MagSafe Duo doesn't give you the fastest charge in its current state with the 12 series. It doesn't. It was not meant to give you the fastest charge. It was to give you enough of a charge. So that's the limitations of wireless charging, not doing a hardwire plug into it.
Oh yeah. It's the fastest MagSafe charges, right?
Yeah, it is. Yes. Yeah. Right. That is correct.
Okay.
I suspect USB-C would be coming down the pipeline all because of that EU stuff that's going on with them being.
Oh, it isn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just checked the website to make sure. If you use a 20-watt USB-C power adapter, the wireless charging is 11 watts. And if you use a 27-watt power adapter, it's wireless charging up to 14. So it's not even
on
the
MagSafe Duo?
MagSafe. Yeah, I'm on the product information page for MagSafe Duo. So yeah, in its current form, it doesn't even go to the full 15. So
okay, but it
There's
does
your
on the standalone MagSafe. It does. It goes to the full.
MagSafe goes to 15. Yeah,
Right.
just the dedicated puck.
Because I gave that to my wife and she loves it. I gave her mine. I was like, I'm going to use the Duo, and she goes, perfect. And that thing juices up. I mean, for all its intent, the Mini didn't need that much wattage anyway, being jolted into it.
Mini caps out at 12 watt, I think, over MagSafe. So
well,
they got to update it. It's time.
So
Type-C.
Drew, question for you, Mr. Pro Max and iPad Mini. How much of
Type-C.
how much of a variant would you say Is
Loki.
there a need to have a Pro Max and an iPad Mini in your, not yours, but like in an ecosystem? Are they too close?
That's a good question.
And I'm not asking, obviously,
Yeah.
OLED and refresh rate is better. I'm asking just for screen real estate productivity, because my takeaway is iOS 15 on 13 Pro Max makes iPadOS kind of obsolete with an asterisk. Obviously, you get Type-C, you get the accessories, like I'm using the 2018 with all iPad Pro with all the accessories on it still.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I have more use cases out of it. But when it comes to consumer style, let me check YouTube, let me, just standard things that doesn't have anything with photography or creativity. Is it something? Do you feel it's there's too much of an overlap, or do you think they can have a case to still coexist in the same household for somebody who has both?
That's a great question. I'm asking myself that right now. There's so many. It's so weird because it's difficult to say one can replace the other.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of things the iPhone does that the iPad can't, and there's a lot of things the iPad does that the iPhone can't.
Like phone calls and Apple Watch.
Yeah, the Apple Watch connectivity. But the
ProRes.
iPad has Type-C.
They fixed that.
Oh yeah, they both have ProRes support now, except the iPhone will eventually record in ProRes. iPad probably won't. But we have center stage on the iPad Mini. You have split screen multitasking, whereas the iPhone, ironically, the Mini has 4 gigs of RAM and supports split screen.
Oh, here
whereas
we go.
the Pro Max has 6 gigs of RAM and does not support split screen, which is fairly hypocritical.
Yeah.
I don't really understand that, but that's just the world we live in, I guess. The speaker quality is fairly equal.
Nice.
Actually, I'm kind of surprised by that, which is kind of a compliment to the 13 Pro Max and somewhat of a criticism to the Mini. It's not as great a speaker system as the
That
iPad
looks
Pro.
so cool in your hands.
It does.
I love this
I'm
form
just staring
factor.
at it, and I'm really
same.
waiting for the UPS
Same,
man.
Nick. Same,
This
Nick.
is
I'm looking at
incredible.
that and I'm
Like-
like, that looks so cool. That's the foldable
This
people
is-
want.
Exactly. I haven't even owned it very long, and this is instantly like the most fun, exciting iPad of the year for me. Like,
It's gorgeous.
far more interesting than the mini LED iPad Pros. And I love the attention to detail they gave the volume buttons. I know we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
So when you're in portrait mode, the inner button brings it up, and then the outer button brings it down because that's the direction that the volume slider moves in. When you're in landscape, up obviously turns it up, and then if you're in this orientation, they switch.
That's
so
cool.
it knows.
Oh, that's cool.
It knows
Nice.
to say, okay, this is the up volume now, so they alternate depending on. But I have found myself reaching for the old volume placement over and over again.
Have it.
I keep going. Oh, let me. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. So
How
I'm
do you
still
feel
I'm
about
still on the
those
learning
gaps
curve.
with the apps?
Yeah, I saw some people bringing that up. They definitely could, I think, optimize. I don't know
'Cause
if it's iPadOS
it's just
15's
super
fault,
wide,
but
though.
I'm going to say it is.
From what I heard,
It is wider.
This is the widest screened iPad we've ever had, and it shows on the home screen.
Any iPad?
On any iPad.
It's not the same
The
ratio as 11 inch?
It's not-
It's
it's not
wider
the
than the
3.4?
11 inch. It's
Wow.
not 3.4. It's wider than the 11 inch. I think it was Renee Ritchie
I
who
didn't
did a
know
video
that.
on that. Yeah. It's
Go
Okay.
to YouTube, Drew, and watch one of your 16:9 and see how much less bezel you have going on there with the aspect ratio.
I'll do you one better. I'll watch. Stop asking me to rate the YouTube app. Jeez.
I
Right.
love that.
I will watch NASA Spaceflight,
Oh, cool.
who also uploads in 16 by 9. Nick's like, yeah, there's actually fairly little black bars.
Hey,
yeah.
good observation, Nick.
Yeah, and of course picture in picture. But yeah, I was doing some split screen in landscape, and I noticed like how kind of limiting a smaller display is, and like how much content can be shown at once. It's like, with a Twitter and YouTube, there's only so much content that can be displayed
Yeah.
simultaneously. Which I was like, okay, this is part of the compromise you got to put up with. Maybe it's just not optimized very well. Maybe the apps aren't really
Remember,
custom.
Drew, it's still iPadOS. That don't.
This is still iPadOS. I don't know exactly if iPadOS 15 is to blame for the padding on the home screen, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes. If by some miracle
It's the software.
iPadOS 14 ran on the Mini 6, you would have the Today View here.
Yes, you would.
And the apps would fill up
Yep.
more. I don't know, but I'm just now finding out as we're recording this that the aspect ratio is wider than ever. So that explains why it feels a little bizarre.
It has. It's not. Do you? Oh, so maybe it's not. iPadOS 15 hasn't properly adjusted for that ratio the same way some third-party apps needs to have updated so it can adjust for the new screen size when they did the 2:1.
Yeah. Like I rebooted this as like a iCloud backup as my iPad Pro.
Yeah.
And the apps in the dock, even though it lets you put this many apps, like look at I'll show it to the audience first. Look at how tiny the apps are relative to my finger. Like they're microscopic practically. It's like I was trying to reach the apps at the bottom and I was like, oops, wrong one, you know. So I think that I should obviously rearrange my dock and stuff, not have that many apps when you're using a display this small. But the text is really tiny. Like, it's honestly kind of bizarre when you look at the home screens on both of these.
Everything on the iPhone looks bigger.
Yeah, the iPhone, despite having a smaller overall display, has these way bigger apps, way bigger widgets, and way larger text. Whereas because this is running iPadOS, it has to scale everything down to fit. Right. And yeah, I think I'd agree after using it a little bit now. iPadOS should be adjusted. I think that there's a way they can make the apps a bit larger. Well, that's probably a setting too. They can make the apps a bit larger, and they could fill up more of that. Use large app icons. There you go. This might be. There's still a lot of padding, but this might be one of the iPads you want to use. The large app, because they're pretty similar in size to the app size. Yeah, they actually match the app size of the iPhone.
Looking at the camera bump on your 13 and looking at the camera bump of the iPad, it tickles me. It's comical how off it is.
Night and day different.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is crazy. Starlight is basically silver, in case you were wondering.
I suspect it is what Nick's silver or white color was for iPhone 12 mini. I suspect it's the same.
If the UPS guy will ever get here, we can do that comparison.
It's a tad bit
to
golder.
me, it looks just a slight pinkish almost.
Okay.
But that might just be my lighting. On camera, it looked more goldish, but in person, I'm like, it's weird. It's like a slight off shade, but.
Wow.
I really wish I could do the iPhone challenge with this. People kept trying to talk me into it during the live stream today because they were like, well, Drew, if you switch to this carrier, then get a cellular plan with your Apple Watch and then get a cellular plan with your iPad,
it's too
then leave the iPhone in a shelf. It's like,
that's too
if I quadruple my cell phone bill in my data plans, I could potentially use the iPad mini as a phone. I bet someone with lots of money and time could do it, but I don't think the realization would be, this is worth it. It's probably going to be, you can, but it's kind of impractical.
Yeah.
So to bring it back to Randy's original question,
can it coexist, or do you think there's too much overlap? Okay, hold on. Wait, don't answer it right now. Let's go. Let's carry on with the show for a little bit.
I'm thinking a lot.
Yeah. So I want an honest thought on that. So don't answer right now, Nick.
All right.
Yep.
You having now the battery that you've
iPad
always
mini
wanted
in one hand and the iPad Pro Max in the other.
I'm not talking about iPad mini with you until you have your iPad.
Pro Max.
I'm gonna wait until you have your iPad to pick your brain about iPad. I want to pick your brain about the new phone.
Yep.
I understand. I appreciate your honesty in regards to you really like the mini. Having the battery be the biggest noticeable, obvious adjustment for you now, and having the camera, you were always the bigger iPhone guy. You always wanted to get the Pro top storage
until last year.
Until last year, you wanted the top of the top. Apple, take $1,500 from me, please. So. Now that you have the phone in hand, are you feeling overwhelmed with your side-by-side, or is it a return to form because the Mini was technically the outline, or like, oh, that's the off-brand one? Do you feel like, yep, I'm used to this, or do you think you've adjusted your habits too much, especially doing what you do now with photography?
So I should preface this whole monologue here with saying I get used to iPhones and tech stuff in general fairly quickly. So I might have an initial knee-jerk reaction in one way, but within a couple weeks, I'm completely used to it, and it's the way it's always been. I did that with the Mini last year. I did that when I switched from a regular iPhone 8 Plus to the Pro Max line. I did that when I switched from the 8 Plus to the 10. That's just how this works. So jumping directly from the Mini, which is my default feel for what a phone has been for the past 10 months, to the Pro Max, literally the heaviest phone Apple has ever created. It's big. It's big. Yeah. I don't know any other way to say that. Obviously, I wanted the features that come with a big phone, but I also like the compactness of the little phone. This is very, very compact. And I found myself today, I've been setting up the new phone and still using the old phone and stuff. And I found myself just picking up the old phone and using it, not like there wasn't much of a decision in like, ooh, I want to use the new phone. Ooh, it's like, no, this one's comfortable. I'm going to text someone back on this phone.
So you don't
but I
notice
know
the
that's going to change.
Refresh rate, but
I know that's
do
going to
notice the brightness difference and all that, though, right?
I mean, they both look like amazing screens.
None of that stuff matters to you. I suspect it mattered to you, Drew, but
it probably will matter to me if like I got both of them out side by side on like a 110 degree day out in the sun and I was like pixel peeping. But if it's direct sunlight, I'm sorry, it's still gonna be hard to see whether it's 1,000 nits or 800 nits or whatever they're advertising these days.
I disagree. You got to try it, man. Take that thing outside, see what it looks like.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a cloudy day.
Did you notice?
At Starbase today.
Yeah, it looked normal.
Okay.
This show is just degrading into me and Randy asking if Nick can notice something.
Nope.
And Nick just going, no.
It's
don't
really
see
just
it.
the battery. Because I charged this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I charged this thing up. Let me take a look at my photos here so I can get the exact time here. I charged it up to 100%, and at 1:30 p.m. I took it off the charger. And I haven't plugged in. It's been at 50% or 70% battery right now, or screen brightness, and we were at 95% battery. And I've been completely normal usage, and that's amazing. Almost an hour and a half of completely normal usage, and I've only dropped 5%.
It lasted more than 20 minutes.
What? No way.
Amazing.
On the other hand, the 12 mini, which was also plugged in all the way up to the tippy top at 1:30. 1:28 it was the exact time, and I haven't been using this at all. Like, this is pretty much just I've did a few texts from it and stuff, but I haven't been watching YouTube or whatever. 61% battery at the moment. So I
think I know where this is going.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the battery. And
12 mini needs macOS.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nick is going to keep the 12 mini and use the iPad mini as his phone.
That was going to be my question. What's the fate of the 12 mini? That was going to be my next question.
You got the cellular mini for a reason.
So yeah, that is a question. You're right, Randy. I did keep the 12 mini. I did not trade it in. As nice as they try to make those trade-in deals, they're basically locking you into a contract without actually locking you into a contract.
They don't try very
hard. Yeah, I don't know. I think at some point I'm going to sell whatever phone I'm not using.
Gentlemen,
there's no rush on that.
I present to us this year's new challenge.
Ooh.
And I shall join you on this excursion.
Challenge.
Speak.
iPad mini as a phone? Is that it?
Oh, he has to come up with a challenge first. Hold on, Drew.
Well, no. That's too.
It's a folding phone.
It's too simple.
Once.
That's too simple of a challenge, and honestly, it wouldn't work. The truth is, it can't work without, like you were saying, Drew.
The truth is, Nick doesn't care about his watch very much.
He doesn't. I do, Drew does, and we are poorer
Normal.
for it. Whereas
We are poor.
whereas Nick is
Yeah.
being very smart. That's smart, and I think there's a challenge that can be carved into here that doesn't have to be as aggressive as reverting to the mini like we did last year. I just want to say, for someone who doesn't have the phones yet, but just playing with it for a little bit, I'm not sold that I'm going to keep the 13s.
Any of them?
Okay. You answered one of my questions, and that's because I ordered the product Red Mini, and you said it looked good, and that's important to
It
me.
looks great.
That is honest important to me. Is the color. So
And you'll still have cinematic mode.
and I would have cinematic mode, and I would have better battery.
LiDAR is so dumb.
LiDAR is ridiculous. You don't need it for even cinematic mode. That's
And
crazy
if you're ever
to think
playing
about.
dominoes
Need it.
and you're short a 2, you can stick your 13 mini in
Stop
there,
it.
and everyone will think
Stop
it's
it.
a 2.
Stop it.
You're right. You're right.
I held the Pro Max and it felt overwhelming for me. And I know because Nick tried to recap for our listeners. Nick tried to convince me last week right before pre-orders to say get the Pro, go big or go home type of style. Like, hey, you've done the mini, now try something you haven't done before. And it pushed me enough to order it as well as the 13 Pro. But even just holding it for the moment, it still feels overwhelming. But Nick brings up a point that I agree with, that given anything with time, you get used to it, you adjust, and I'm sure that's something I can.
I'm already used to it.
You're already used to it.
I'm just using it now, and I'm like, this is amazing.
So
God.
it's not a deal breaker, and for the battery and for everything else like that, I think there's a fair cost to value thing happening where you pay more.
Price
but not,
per dollar.
Price per dollar. I'm trying so hard not to say that. You get the best battery ever in an iPhone ever. Good morning. And you also now have the best cameras, OLED, refresh rate. But all that is also on the regular 13 Pro. So,
He just throws in "Good morning."
because it's such an Apple thing. Like,
Best
these
battery
are
in
the
iPhone.
best.
Good morning.
These are the best batteries iPhone has ever had. Good morning.
Good morning. My battery health is at 100% now. Woo!
It's 4:20 in the afternoon here. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Wait for 69 seconds. Drew just doesn't know what to do with that joke.
Bug. I don't know how to process that. Like, I am just so at peace now. Like, I have achieved.
Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana.
Drew's
I feel
Buddhist
like
now. He's achieved Nirvana.
I feel like I just retired in a way because I finally have 120 hertz and I can't stop looking at it, and that's probably, if there were no camera changes, this would have been worthy upgrade for me. All of the camera upgrades I've gotten are like supplemental. It's like, oh, I also get that, which is nice. And I do see what you guys are saying about cinematic mode, because like I watched a lot of people's demos of it, and like I heard what Randy was trying to do. What did you do with cinematic mode, Nick?
Yeah, I played around with it 3 or 4 times so far. I don't have any friends, so I haven't actually tried it out with people. However, I have played around with objects, and they just look a little soft in the way that a poorly processed fake bokeh looked like, circa like original iPhone 7 Plus. It just looks soft and unfinished. And then the pulling focus is cool and stuff and whatever, and tapping to pull focus, whatever. But I don't know. It's not a selling point for me, but I guess it's nice to have. I'll put it that way. It's not important enough for me to add it to the list of reasons why I'm keeping the phone battery, but it is nice to have.
The display for me has like peaked So I'm looking for reasons to not like cinematic mode, despite being very impressed by it. And I did a video with it, and I was like, "This is really cool. I love it." But ProRes and cinematic mode are going to be the reasons I'm a hypocrite next year. Ooh. If they're good, if they're worth it. So I am
30 frames and or 1080p is not good enough.
No, it has to be 4K at 60. I'm not willing to do a side grade. I'm not willing. Well, it's a little bit better, but it's not quite what I want. It's like, no, I will upgrade if the cinematic performance is, I guess, more substantially improved. But again, I've had this phone working for just a few hours, so it's probably too early to tell. I will do a video on it just to see people's reactions and see what people think. I was messing around with a few objects before we started recording, and I was still... Maybe I'm being too nice. I am an Apple sheep, but like, if I had more of a Nick and Sweeney eye, I would probably be able to say, yeah, this has kind of that fake edge, soft look, and...
Drew, can
I'm
I
sorry,
see the
I'm
back
doing it
of
again.
your...
This looks really good.
Can I see the back of your phone? And Nick, can you hold up the back of your phone for me too? Yeah, bring it back just a little bit so I can... I like the black. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He likes graphite. Well, Nick also is using a fancy camera for his FaceTime call.
No, I know, but
so,
the thing is, Nick is going to avoid more fingerprints with his because it's lighter. It's going to blend in.
The thing
better.
is literally slipping out of my hand right now. You guys can see.
It's so heavy.
Literally, my fingers were in the middle. Now they're at the top.
Dun, 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 dun.
Both
literally.
of those colors I
slip.
like more than the Sierra Blue. Seen it, what I saw in person. Yeah.
I agree, and I don't love these colors.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of silver or graphite.
No,
I just didn't care about gold or Sierra Blue much at all.
Starlight and Midnight and Product Red and Blue. So I guess all the colors, right? Those all look, except pink. I didn't see pink ones. I don't know. But those things are cool looking colors. That's the blue I thought I was going to get. Well, actually, Nick is probably going to crop it. But I was thinking Sierra Blue was going to be like my mic. And I'll show it to you guys. Like that color blue.
Gotcha.
For you guys watching this color blue. And it's not. It's just faded sky blue.
I still prefer the 10R blue.
Agreed.
After seeing the 13 blue.
Yeah.
I was like, it still reminds me of a recycling bin, which I don't care much for. So I was just going for most neutral phone color, and I thought graphite was the most neutral I could find.
Apple, please, Product Red and a Pro series, please. Please.
We're going to get it in March.
I will sell everything.
Wow.
Just please, Product Red or Pro.
Everything.
I would.
Yep.
It's so... Because you guys
Pro.
are there with me. I know you are. You can see it. The frosted, finished back with that same deep crimson red.
Only if it has gold metal. If they do the Iron Man phone,
you want the Iron Man one?
Oh, that would be dope.
I want the Iron Man phone.
I would be for that.
That special edition is the reason why I would never. That could keep me for a few years, and then come September 2022, I'll be like, guys, I'm thinking about upgrading because of the new cinematic.
So, I guess, Drew, I'm very excited that you've found your peak iPhone. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing. For the display, you know.
Because you want a smaller phone?
It feels unwieldy, honestly. And I'm really hoping I get used to it. And maybe I will. Sure. But also the whole iOS just is not optimized yet. I don't know what it is about the notch, but the battery indication, the time, and the Wi-Fi thing, they look comically large next to my text. I don't know.
I was thinking that too.
And then if you go into an app and it takes you to another app where you have like that little back button, like mine says search and the little back arrow, it shifts the clock up, but the clock is barely even over the search little back button. They need to move the clock that way, and it's all broken. It's all broken. the whole
They
notch
do feel
needs a
comically
fix.
large.
I'm looking at
guys-
the text, and it's massive.
How do you gents feel about the reduced notch?
I couldn't care less, to be honest. After seeing the 13 mini and the 13 and now using the Pro Max, it was like, it reaffirmed all of my beliefs about the notch being, it's still going to be there. Doesn't matter if it's big, small, or a camera hole cutout. It's still an intrusion that you just get used to having because it's small, it's out of the way, and it doesn't really show up in a lot of things. Like with YouTube, it's not that big a deal. With using your phone, it's probably the part of the device you look at the least. And if they remove it entirely, that means my carrier name is going to be stuck there 24/7. So I don't get the obsession with the battery percentage, although I see it all the time. Everyone wants that to come back. I'm in no rush. That's why I'm saying on the record here, like, nothing they could do with the display at this point would get me to upgrade. Like, I don't care about 160 hertz or 240 hertz. It's too hard to tell at that point. I don't care if the notch is gone.
Oh, that's a Marquez.
I'm scratching that. Yeah. No, a lot of people seem to care. But scratch that off my list of, like, things I would upgrade for in the future. Like, they could ditch the notch entirely next year. I wouldn't care. It's such a small change. It felt a little surreal being in the store because I remember for years I was always hearing about smaller notch, smaller notch, smaller notch. Now it's finally here, and I was like, wow, I'm in an Apple store, and there's smaller notches. It finally happened. They did something with it. And it didn't. I kept telling people, like, there were jailbreak tweaks in, like, concept, like, of, like, the battery percentage on the Apple Watch widget. There are ways they could have brought back the battery percentage at any time.
Yes.
Like the jailbreak tweak that shows the battery icon with the number in the battery.
Even on the 12 mini, they could have fit a number instead of the little icon.
For sure. They easily could have done it on any iPhone if they felt like it. They just clearly have not cared.
I love the mini.
I'm going to pick mine up again because I haven't in a while. Oh my God, it feels like a toy. Wow. This is like, feels like an iPod.
Good.
And
it
the
does feel
refresh
a little
rate.
bit like an iPod. I'd agree with that.
Gross. What a terrible product.
So, Drew, your deciding factor going forward, judge-free zone, I'm not holding it against you. We're just being honest here. But bunch of honest people right now. They
Randy, I've never liked your beard. Drew, your beard is amazing.
Wow.
But
that is
how dare you?
False.
How
My
dare
beard
you?
is patchy as crap. And
Mine
you know
is
it.
full, thick.
Randy has a full man beard. I have holes
I've been
all
growing
over
a
the
beard
place.
since I was 12. How dare you?
Mine is lazy.
Lazy. So they would have to improve
He just moves on.
because I don't care what Nick has to say about my beard. Where's your beard, Nicholas?
I shave it off because it's more patchy than Drew's.
You would look
that
like
is true.
Ooh,
That is true.
that's impossible.
I know.
You
I've
would look
seen
like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon.
So ProRes would need to be.
No, good. I was ready.
Okay, so you would upgrade now, not for nothing. No battery, no screen, no redesign.
Battery's great.
Only
I didn't mind the battery on the 12 mini. Be honest with you. I know Nick hates that. Man, me and Nick are like total opposites. It's amazing.
What is this?
Like, he has all of these battery problems. My mini was fine. I was still ending the day at like 40-30% most of the time.
Why? I guess my real question is, why does ProRes have to matter for you if you are not a film on iPhone kind of guy? That's not your flavor. That's not your style. Why
What
does
if
that?
I could become one.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
The idea is,
okay.
obviously, I've always wanted Apple to make a camera because I'm a big fan of AirDrop and first-party control and simplifying workflows because I create a crap ton of videos between tech and EV all the time. I have to be making lots of content, and me and my wife want to travel more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've been cooped up a lot from the pandemic when they had all these trips planned for 2020 that most of which got scrapped. So now we're trying to plan for those moving forward and trying to be more careful about it. But still, like, we're talking about taking time away from home that would be longer than just like a week or two.
Yeah.
And those types of trips are only going to be possible if I'm able to work. So if the iPhone can get good enough to the point that I can do my videos with it and it's not that big of a compromise, it's not really something many people mind or see as like a drop in quality, then that means I can pack a lot less equipment because I don't have to bring around a camera, the CFast cards, or the specific tripod that this type of camera needs. I could simplify because I'm taking my phone regardless. It's vacation. The phone's coming with me. So if I can create dual functionality of my phone, that it's not only just, for maps and, vacation and listening to music, but now it's also a work tool that doesn't compromise on video quality. Because I've tried to record videos on my iPhone in the past. It's very obvious. It's pretty noticeable.
Yeah.
And I guess cinematic mode and ProRes are getting us closer to, you can't tell. It's like it doesn't really feel like a downgrade.
Can I
it
push
doesn't
back
really
on
feel
you
like
for
a
a second?
compromise. Yeah, I actually want to toy around with it right now.
Okay, so my pushback for you is, oh my God, I'm sorry. Did something happen? Oh no, am I oranger? I'm sorry, Nick. If something looks like it changed, anyway. So Drew, my pushback is
you said you're looking oranger, and then you did the Trump.
I thought he was going to break into his impression. Excuse me,
Nick. All right. I mean, you look at Nick, and he's got and now I'm not orange anymore. Okay, it is the Sony. The Sony's doing some weird color correction.
Do you have auto white balance on? You need to set that to a fixed white balance.
I've never seen a worse camera ever. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so my pushback for you, Drew, is you said that people know, or the audience noticed when you're filming with the phone, and I guess it's enough that brings attention to it. But these are the same people that just did a poll saying they prefer the iMac 1080 webcam over a dedicated camera. And you have said in the past, it's not necessarily the execution of the video part of your videos that matter more so than the substance, more so than the presentation of you and doing all that stuff. So I don't see how that would have made much of a difference regardless then for you leading up to here's what would make me want to do it now. Unless it's like a challenge or something. I hear you and I agree with you with the whole phones coming with you regardless for vacation, and so it's more convenient. And I also agree that Apple should make a camera. But you've always struck to me as the type of guy who wants the black magic, who wants to use the red cameras as well. Like you care about that stuff, and
yeah,
rightfully you should. I don't diss on that. Whereas like, you guys know I'm a big iPhone camera fanatic, and even Nick leans into it from time to time, and we would do things intentionally together. Just like every podcast promo you guys have ever watched on the channel or whatever was always shot on iPhone, and that's intentional just because it leans into the branding and all that stuff. But
sure,
I really lean into it. I don't understand for you. I guess I don't understand why that matters to you then about ProRes or having the ability to have that cinematic feature at 4K at 60 if you could do 4K right now. The way you have your camera set up, you don't really lean into the bokeh for your tech videos anyway. You're not doing a Tailosive TV skit. That's a whole different thing. Where you get really creative and that's a whole different genre. That all makes sense. But when you're doing tech and EV, your thing is really more focused, I would say, at the cutaways, any B-rolls. That seems to be more important. And then the A-roll is Drew presenting, and that's the focus point on that.
Right.
So I don't see how that would make you want to upgrade, to be honest, then. Unless I'm missing something.
Well, to be fair, the webcam thing is a bit different because it's primarily for live streaming, which there's a ton of compression with. Ooh, Nick has a development. So when you're compressing something to live stream, particularly over Starlink, the bit rate and the quality of the camera isn't appreciated as much compared to an edited video because you have time to compress it and export it and retain a lot of its quality. And when I tried to switch my tech videos to 1080p to kind of make my workflow easier, a lot of people got annoyed by that. And they were like, no, go back. I want 4K. I appreciate the 4K. And people were like, I see more usefulness in this because I have displays that support that or whatnot. And I appreciate it when content creators do have that sharp richness, because the A-roll is going to be something you see a lot of, because if you're not looking at the cutaway, you're looking at that. So you want to make sure that your A-roll looks good and solid. So if the iPhone, basically my biggest issue with iPhone recording has always been just that compression. You can tell it's a smartphone processor that's writing all that code. So it has to be scaled down a bit. And now finding out ProRes is going to be 6 gigs a minute is like, what's that detail going to look like?
Yeah, so you don't think it's going to be compressed, huh? You don't think it's going to have any?
ProRes is by definition
where is all that
uncompressed.
data coming from?
ProRes by definition
if it's a gig every 10 seconds.
Yeah, I know, but we all notice like the color adjustments and everything that still makes it feels flat still. When Drew,
well, we haven't seen the ProRes yet.
This is true.
That hasn't happened.
But me just speculating on what the A chip is doing, when you have filmed with your Blackmagic, as opposed to filming on an iPhone for even if it was a quick shot, it's still noticeable just because of what the chip is doing. But so correct me if I'm wrong. My takeaway for you, Drew, is that if the ProRes is good now with 30 frames and it does go to 60, you are willing to change your office setup to work to minimize to work off of an iPhone that's capable of doing such a thing, and you can run your channels through it. You have no problem doing that.
Perhaps. There might be other issues, like if the ProRes bitrate is really high and it takes forever to import over Lightning or AirDrop, where if it starts to cause more time to use with the iPhone, then if I'm at home in my office, I'm not going to bother. But if I'm on a trip and it's far more convenient for me to not bring Blackmagic lens adapters, CFast cards, CFast card readers, and have to deal with all of that problematic process,
we need to stop talking.
It's a tough one.
We got to stop.
I know. We've had our time. We could do this all day.
We can. And
I'm about
Nick
to
is
explode.
He's about to burst a vein in his eye.
He's about to explode.
He's about to bust.
It finally came.
Okay, we're gonna do it. Is this a on podcast unboxing?
He can't hold. Yes, he can't hold it. Oh.
I guess yes. He stopped. He tuned me out.
He's not listening to me.
I'm gonna hold my iPad Mini like.
Hey, there's plastic on that.
Hey, Apple. I thought we were getting rid of that. What do you hate
pretty.
the environment or something?
Yeah. What's wrong with the environment, Apple?
What's wrong with the environment?
It's so small. That's what she said.
Wait.
so
see how many of those you can fit in this show, Nick.
Oh, I'm so happy.
That's not what she said.
This is. Who are you with, Randy? This is like 12-inch MacBook levels of nostalgia here. Like, I love this size device. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
Good. Can they see it on camera?
What?
Can they? Is it being picked up on camera?
Yeah. You guys are seeing the
good
program feed.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to catch Nick's reaction to
Here we
this.
go.
We're going to watch him ditch the iPhone in live time.
Yeah. Any day now. Here we go.
Ooh. Yes.
Oh, dude.
Yes.
I know this is not as exciting for you, Drew. Did we all get Starlight?
No, I love seeing his reaction.
This is amazing. Oh my gosh.
Nick is smiling so big.
This is amazing. I love it.
This is what it's all about.
I love it. Who
Merry
needs
Christmas,
this
Nick.
dumb thing?
Oh no.
Oh no! Don't stop.
I believe he would throw that.
He would.
He would do that.
He has in the past.
Oh, the Touch ID power button. I've never seen one up close.
Yeah, I finally got to toy around with one because I never reviewed the iPad Air.
It's so
It's interesting.
cute. I love it.
Whoa, yours booted up in portrait mode.
I love it. It boots up whatever
When I
direction you
turned
hold
mine
it when
on,
you.
it was in landscape.
Yeah, whatever direction. It's same with the current gen iPad Pros. whatever direction.
Nick's pitch of voice changed so much.
It's so cute. Whatever you turn on stays that way. But look at it said hello. Hola. Mushi mushi. Yeah, however you turn it on, Drew, it stays in that.
It's so cute. I
didn't realize it did that.
You guys look so
that
cool
is
with
the
your
best
minis.
word to describe this. Just say cute. That's how I would
so
summarize
cute.
it. It's
I love it. It's so cute.
My wife doesn't like it.
Because it's so cute?
No, she normally likes little cute things.
Does she
and,
feel
like,
threatened by
seeing...
the iPad?
But then I showed her the iPad. She's like, "No, I want the big iPad." And I was like, "Okay."
Okay. While
Wow.
Nick is booting up his thing really
Wow.
quickly. That's
Wow.
what she said. I have some thoughts on iPadOS 15.
It's bent.
Oh, now that you have it,
Now that I have it, this week is
And
the
now-
first week I've ever had it.
it has ProRes. I did a video all on my iPad Pro.
I'm gonna be honest. I know iPad's iPad, but I don't hate iPadOS 15.
Ooh, really? Okay.
Here we
We
go.
need to talk
If
about
the
this.
Do we have
Randy.
enough time for this subject?
If the trade-off is we don't get the today view, but it does adopt many macOS features. When it's docked to the Magic Keyboard, I get my touch bar that I've never used. I get touch bar features.
Was that not there before?
No.
Oh, I don't remember that.
So now I see iPadOS is making me understand why you guys like touch bar. Because I'm typing and the autofill, or even when I'm scrubbing a website, everything that you guys have about your touch bar shows up for me, and it even takes the form of the touch bar. I go, oh, that's neat. That's different. I'm a big notes guy, and I use the quick notes. I used it twice already, unironically, not for trying out, but just because I need to jot that down, and it worked. I think I do like iPad OS 15, but I don't like that I have an iPad Pro. It's perfect for like what Nick and you guys have in your hands, and like that makes total sense. But I feel like we went so over the top with the hardware and the accessories to include the iPad Pro itself that I just feel like it's still lacking the Pro. What makes it a Pro? Refresh rate? Because the iPhone now has it? Not good enough for me. I'm indifferent about that.
No, I agree.
LiDAR?
I think iPadOS makes a ton of sense on products like this.
Yeah,
like the one Nick is
for
setting
sure.
up right now. Like for $500, $300, even $800 tablets,
Yeah.
iPadOS covers, I think, with that market is fine. Like I even started editing one of my more recent tech videos
I'm so
on
excited.
LumaFusion on the iPad mini, and it's actually, I'm finding it more ergonomic to use in portrait mode, which I've never done before, but it's only because maybe this needs to be optimized or something. But the preview monitor, oh wait, can you adjust this? Oh, you can. Luma, you're amazing. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You can adjust the preview finder to make it big. When I first opened it up, it was like this, and
Like the iPhone. How does it on the iPhone?
Yeah, the preview thing was tiny, and I was like, "Oh, this is a little clunky." But then I realized there's a tab right here, and if you pull down, you could make
That's
the preview
amazing.
monitor. That's awesome. LumaFusion is great, by the way. Like I did the whole video on it, intros, outros, added the music, did color correction, faded out audio and everything. And honestly, like I did all of that without a keyboard or mouse. It was complete touch. Didn't use the pencil. And it wasn't that bad. I felt like I got through it pretty quick, and my A12X chip exported the video in like under 14 minutes at an ultra bit rate, which I don't think my Final Cut exports are even at ultra. So
Yeah.
I probably could have toned it down, and it still would have looked fine.
Since 2017, Drew was the first person that I ever knew promoting, advocating LumaFusion. Before it became trendy, before even Apple acknowledged it, Drew was the first one. So
Apple always talks about it now. It's
Yeah.
on like every page of the iPad. It's like, and you can do advanced video editing with LumaFusion.
which tells me we
They
won't
get-
see Final Cut.
It could be the antitrust thing, like, see, we promoted them. We promote third parties, and then they come out with their own. But yeah.
But if they charge us...
them bringing ProRes to the iPad makes me think it kind of restores hope that there might be some...
You should have not sold your mini LED. You screwed yourself. You messed up.
Nick, status report.
I love it. Aww.
Nick cried tears of joy and sadness today.
I don't have that on my bingo card.
Leave my iPad mini more.
Add that to the bingo card. Nick cries about something.
Look how look at the pencil. My God, look at that.
I'm almost speechless.
So jealous you guys have your stuff.
Oh
my God.
Almost speechless.
So
give a speech.
Yeah, okay. It's this thing. All right, well, I will say iPhone 12 mini is to iPhone 13 Pro Max as iPhone 13 Pro Max is to iPad mini.
So what?
No, seriously. Do one of these lineups, Drew. Okay. Do one of these lineups.
Drew's face?
I can do it.
Look at that.
Let me pivot my iMac down a bit. Oh, you're right. Oh my God, the aspect, the ratio
and then we
difference
throw in the
here.
iPad
This
Pro.
is.
Stop it.
This is what we call expensive dominoes.
We need to get together and take our
stupid
Apple product photo.
Oh, it fell.
Yeah, before the return window closes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. They're like, it feels like Animorphs. It's like growing.
Whoa!
It's like 12 mini, 13 Pro Max, iPad mini.
Yeah.
It's like the continuation.
This is
amazing.
This is the iPad I always wanted, guys. I know I've said this before, so this isn't just an in the moment thing. This is the iPad I've always wanted. I wanted the 2018 iPad redesign on an iPad mini, and I'm holding it in my hand, and it is
you have the power of the sun.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hi, Peter.
Do you like Touch ID? Like, I didn't realize how it worked before. Like, if the display is off and you just rest your finger, nothing happens. But
Really?
as soon as you click it, it jumps straight open.
I actually haven't turned this off yet.
Up.
Let me turn it off for the first time.
No swiping up.
On the iPad Pros with Face ID, you gotta like tap and then swipe up. Whereas on this, you press once and it jumps open.
I miss Touch ID,
which is pretty quick.
I said it. I miss it. That means that's how.
Do you guys think it's weird? Is it weird for them to have both on an iPad Pro?
No, I don't think so.
Because I have found in setting up this iPad mini and logging into different accounts, I miss Face ID for passwords. Because I've always found that easier when you activate iCloud Keychain. It just looks at you and you're already looking at it. And now I'm like, iCloud Keychain, and it's like Touch ID, and I go, up here, and then enter it again. And I have to keep scanning it. Whereas Face ID is just right away. Although I wish there was a way you could jump from screen off, open it, and then it unlocks, and then swipes up right away with Face ID.
Apple Watch.
That's not an option.
This is my favorite device.
So
this is
my thing
Nick is in love.
You, with your guys' iPhone 13s, is there an improvement in Face ID at all? Like at angles? So
from what I've heard,
I've
heard there's no change.
I hesitate to care about Face ID as much as I did just 2 years ago, because what the 2018 variant had, iPad Pro, had those amazing angles to still unlock with Face ID, and I love that convenience. Hoping we would get that with iPhone, and we never really did. And I think I've said it here on the show. The iPad is meant to be touched, so in that sense, I like Touch ID. Whereas I would love to have Face ID for Mac, because you don't touch the screen.
Yes.
That would make a lot more sense with in the uniform bezels. It can just authenticate right there. But no, I don't think it's bad or wrong to have both biometrics on there. Just strictly to flex, to say you can choose your preference. because you can.
The best of both.
The best of both.
If you don't like one, just don't use it.
iPad is so ahead of everything else that just we put it. You know, it could be a throwaway gimmick. Like there you go. There's two versions of it. If one fails, like hey, you need to authenticate or put in your password, then instead of defaulting on the password, you can resort to fingerprint or something like that. I like Face ID for its convenience on the iPad Pro specifically because of the angles, but
right.
I do find myself I hold the iPad more now. I've given up on the whole keyboard thing, so touching it, having my finger kind of right there at the ready on the bezel, and just kind of touching it feels intuitive to want to do something like that. But it is a learning curve, I'm sure, as you guys. It's not what I'm used to doing, but yeah. Nick, I'm just feeling.
Would you be shocked if you heard that I am considering an iPad Pro again because of the ProRes feature?
Not even remotely. No. I'm not shocked because I know how much you love Center Stage, and I know
I do love Center Stage. I love the refresh rate.
And I know you regret.
We know the M1 chip is fast.
You regret selling your keyboard now, don't you? Yeah, you do. Yeah,
Not even so much the keyboard, because I used LumaFusion just with a touchscreen, and it felt pretty fast. Like, I didn't feel as sluggish as I thought. I think Luma is optimized very well for touch, and the keyboard and mouse. I think the big difference is the time head. With Final Cut, it moves.
You can move it
with your mouse.
Yeah.
With LumaFusion, whether you have a keyboard mouse or not, it stays fixed.
Yes.
So unless they change that, maybe there's an option to or something. But with a keyboard and mouse connected, you still have that time head stuck in one place, and you move the timeline instead of the time head. And because of that, using the touch interface and just scrolling through the timeline and hitting cut between all of my talking points, and I was able to add the zoom in and the Ken Burns really easily because they have that effects preset, and I can save color correction settings, and there's so much great stuff in there.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it's just called zoom in and zoom out. Like, it's a preset that you just tap it, and then you can change the animations. Gives you a lot of control and like how fast it zooms in and you know, all of that. So after I edited that whole video on LumaFusion and it went pretty quick, I was like, dang, if Apple would have had this feature out there, I would have kept the mini LED iPad Pro. And the only reason I don't have it is because they didn't have ProRes before.
I think it doesn't shock me that you would want to do that, but I also think that you would get a higher storage configuration too. So that way.
That too.
Because I think if I remember correctly,
because
you got the base.
A MacBook Pro would not have center stage.
Right.
And it would not have 120 hertz.
Am I hearing you saying that you're considering moving your workflow to iPad?
For like travel stuff. I'm debating I'm debating the price of like 16-inch MacBook Pro with tons of storage versus M1X Mac Mini for homework, and then iPad Pro for on-the-go stuff. Because the iPad Pro still couldn't really do the live streaming functionality that I really want with Streamlabs and overlays, and so I was tempted, but because we're so close to MacBook season, I feel like it's better to just wait and see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm basically just trying to tell you, Apple, you really should have had ProRes sooner, because you could have had a lot more of my money. I could have gone very differently.
I think Apple. Yeah, this is interesting because like that's something that it was premeditated to let that happen. So I think it was always in the cards for them to bring it to iPad Pro, but the fact that they didn't. Is that because they wanted to introduce it with iPhone first? So look, and like, did they want to give that spotlight to iPhone? Because if that's the case, iPad took many features before iPhone almost every single year for the last couple of years. It would not have been weird to be like, oh, LiDAR, the squared off the redesign, the
yeah,
everything that we've seen with iPhone that we appreciate, ProMotion now came to iPad first.
Yep.
And
finally.
Finally. So you got time to wait to see what happens with MacBook or Mac as a whole for you to decide. But
yes,
in the best scenario that everything looks to be what it seems to be panning out to be, you will get the mini LED iPad Pro and a Mac Mini instead of a MacBook Pro, and that will be your trade-off.
Because I think the prices would kind of line up. I think they would be somewhat equal.
Yeah. So I guess the question is,
M1X Mac Mini would be $1,500. iPad Pro with some higher storage around $15,000. So it's like $3,000 in total.
Or would your iPad be treated as? Would you hold it to the same caliber as you would your Mac Mini? Like, are you going to get a keyboard with it as well, or are you going to treat it with just a folio case? And it's, I'm basically asking, are you setting yourself up to be hurt again?
Yes, I am.
At least you know that going in.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm like, this is dangerous because you probably run into a bunch of stuff. iPadOS still can't do this and still can't do this, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I should just stick with the Mac, because maybe the design of the new MacBook Pro is really, really good, and I just haven't seen it yet, and I might fall in love with it when I see it. But as it stands right now, I think the iPad Pros look way cooler. Like
they do.
The uniform bezels, the Face ID, the high refresh rate, all things I won't
get
tech on a MacBook Pro.
The better
with
display.
a Mac Mini, I can pair it with a 120 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
And then everything's high refresh rate except my watch. It's the last one, the last piece. How's it going, Nick?
I'm still in a mini coma right now. I'm sorry.
The mini coma.
Holy cow, this thing is amazing. This is...
What are you doing with it?
Yeah, talk to us. What are you doing?
Just getting it set up. I mean, I just, turn on iCloud messages and, just dinking around with it. Like, this is the iPad I've always wanted. Like, and then I go and hold...
the wallpapers, too.
Ooh, I need to get that wallpaper. How do I get... Is that just in
These change with light mode and dark mode.
I haven't seen Nick this ecstatic since he got his 12-inch MacBook.
I know. That's as I was opening it, I was like, I have.
I believe MacBook. You. You are in the same euphoria you were when you got your dream MacBook back.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
Yep. So
I'm happy for you, man. It's cool to see this.
It's also just. It's super cool that Apple finally changed the iPad Mini. Like it was legit the same every year for years, and now it's finally something different. Different screen, different chassis, different connector, different speakers, different camera. Like, have you gone to the camera app yet?
No, not yet.
Go to the front-facing camera and like zoom out and just look at how ultra wide it gets. It's crazy.
Whoa!
Like, whoa!
Put that in the podcast. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot I was on the show here, guys, for a second. This is way too cool. I can't remember. I mean, I think it was the 12-inch MacBook, and that wasn't even a new tech product. I can't remember the last time I was this excited about holding a new tech product. Like, this surprised me. Like, the event, it wasn't really rumored too much, and it was there, and I was like, oh, wow, cool. And then, like, as I was waiting for it, I was like, yeah, it's just going to be, whatever. I'm not going to be quite as impressed by it. But, like, this is iPad Mini. This is perfect. This is...
You know what makes me laugh about the rear-facing camera?
Mm-hmm.
It has a 1x button, and when you press it, it jumps to 2x, even though there is a single lens.
Huh.
Weird.
They just put a crop in button by default. I don't know why they did that, but they did it.
This is what the 10R would have been if it stuck around and got the squared off design. LCD
this is
panel.
What the 10R would have been if it was an iPad.
This is what the iPad Mini would have been if it was an iPad.
Yeah.
How do you guys like Starlight?
Yeah. Love it. Silver. Practically silver.
You like it?
Is it like your phone?
Does Does it look like a slight shade of gold or pink to you, or does it just look solid silver? Like if you have your iPad Pro nearby, compare it, because that's what I was doing.
Well, he's comparing it to his phone.
It's literally the same color as the iPhone 12 mini silver in this lighting, which is 5500 Kelvin.
Oh, good. Good.
With the iPad Pro.
He knows the Kelvin.
Well, I do, because I bought the light specifically. I mean, it's silver compared to the gray iPad Pro.
Sure.
Wait, guys, I just received a picture from one of my friends. I have to check this real quick.
Yes, please do. That was the ultra wide.
It made your
you look
face
like Dory.
long.
What?
It made
you
your
look
face
like Dory.
long. Yeah.
Dory.
It squished your face.
I'm Dory.
Yeah.
But longwards.
Okay.
The quality of that camera is good though.
Yeah.
It's so good.
If you were to film a video with the front facing camera like zoomed all the way out, you get a lot of crisp detail out of that, and it's very wide angle.
Punch
Looks
into
awesome.
Nick's eyeball. It's so. It's
Yeah.
so clean.
Hashtag shot on iPad.
Shot on
Now
my
we just
back.
need to get the macro lens on the 13 Pro Max and get a
just
real
need
good eyeball shot.
Have you done that?
No, I haven't. Let's do it.
I did it during the stream. It's like spooky good at it. It like
Whoa.
it's bizarre how much detail it'll get. I'll text you the picture.
No, Nick, look into the lens when you take the photo.
I didn't know which lens to look at though.
There's too many lenses.
Look up.
Look up.
There, that one.
Was it
that
that
one.
one?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Whoa,
What
god.
a
Drew.
fun morning.
Jeez.
Whoa.
That's actually a really good picture of my eyeball.
Drew, you
I'm
got pretty
impressed.
eyes.
Thank
Aw,
you. My
thanks.
wife agrees.
Aww.
That is actually a pretty good picture of my eyeball.
My
Good
friends
job,
are
Mac, man.
handsome.
I just love how a lot of people were complaining that like it automatically switches to the ultra wide when you get close to things.
Yeah.
In the review videos, I was like, that's just so classic Apple, though.
Yeah.
Would you rather it just be like out of focus?
No.
Like obviously, if you get really close to something, it should default to the macro camera. Like it makes sense to me. It's like either that or you back up until the regular lens is fine. Like a lot of people, Apple even said that there's a feature coming later that will allow you to turn that off or still have control. But to me, it makes perfect sense that when you point the camera really close to something, it would default to the macro. It's like, why else would you be that close? I don't know.
Well, I
to
mean,
get
even if you
focus
But yeah,
sometimes.
even when you pinch in, you would want to get. Yeah, you. Does the macro have the same night mode and all that as well, or no?
I haven't tried because I've only had this in daytime, so I'm excited to try night mode. But
That's me turn off.
yeah,
the lights.
I'm actually curious that ultra wide has a wider aperture, so I want to see how sharp it looks now.
I
Looks a
bet
bit
it's so
better to
clean.
me already. Telephoto is still,
Meh.
I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to say about this iPad Mini once I'm done being in shock. Like this is impressive. Like I love
Yeah,
this.
you are. Man, that's such a.
I'm
tiny-
close to speechless.
are you getting a smart cover?
I didn't pre-order one, and they're all like out to like Timbuktu middle of October. So
Yeah.
probably at some point I should get one, but I'm gonna wait till I can have like all the colors in front of me and see which one looks
Just
best.
go to
The
Best
orange
Buy
looks real nice.
And be like,
Well, they don't. They're all out till like middle of October too in Best Buy. I checked.
If we were on Tim Cook's nice list, we'd
I
have
know,
one.
right? Tell Tim Cook
It's a
to
shame.
put us on our nice list. Yeah, I don't know. This is it's something. It is something.
I would be
It is
super
something.
duper in love with the idea of an iPad Pro Mini. I know a lot of people have said that, but the biggest issue I take with this is probably the 60 hertz, and if it just had 120, that would be a
I haven't-
solid iPad alternative to me.
This is an interesting dilemma for me because I can either stick with the iPad Mini keep the 13 mini and have the cinematic mode, and nothing I have is ProRes, and I'll be fine. Or I stick with the 13 Pro, stick with the iPad Pro, and then the only thing that's not would be my watch. Well, I guess the Mac is the Mac. I mean, I wish no, I don't wish. I don't wish I cared as much as you guys cared, but wow. Wow. It's cool.
I could tell Randy just got this picture I texted to. It's a nose macro.
I can
a
see
nacral, if you will.
Drew, I really could have gone my entire life without seeing that picture.
I don't know. I could imagine you on your deathbed one day being like, but I've never seen a macro shot of Drew's nostrils.
Hey, at least you don't have any bats in the cave.
Yeah, well.
That's true.
This is a ultra wide picture from the iPad Mini's ultra wide camera of what everyone sees when they look at me from in person. If you ever meet me in person, this is exactly what you'll see.
That's it.
POV. You're 6'7", and you just.
Why am I at
Nick.
your waistline?
Randy, you've met Nick. You know what it's like.
Why am I looking up like this?
Because Nick's height is measured in miles.
Why does my
kilometers.
nose reach his belly button? I'm not okay.
I don't know. This nose isn't any better. We're just taking weird pictures of our body parts. This is literally the weirdest tech podcast ever.
And it's all through Apple. Nick, this should be your contact photo on iMess.
I can't see it.
It's the one you took. It's like you looking down at everyone. No, but super zoomed out. Just this and then the loud thumping sound effect.
It makes your head look so small because you're so far away.
Well, that's what an ultra wide does.
Yeah.
It'll compress the center and expand the edges of the frame.
This is the iPad Mini's ultra wide?
Yeah, I've never played
It's
with
so
an
clean.
iPhone. Yeah, it's so fun. I love it.
It's delicious.
Delicious is not the.
I love the center.
It's not the
stage
word I would have
camera.
used.
I'm so glad
but,
they brought. I'm gonna use delicious more. I think I like that word. I am so thankful that Apple decided to bring center stage to cheaper iPads, and not keep that just to the pros, because I've been messing around with it on the Mini today, and I'm like, that is just such a great iPad perk. It was just like following you around. Plus, if you do want to use this as a little quick video recording thing, if you're just posting something on Twitter, it's so much better to just have an ultra wide, crisp 12 megapixel image. I believe it's still 1080 at 60, but it's fine. It's still great. Just wonderful.
So no cinematic mode for iPad Mini? There's no cinematic mode? All right. For the
Totally should.
Front facing makes sense.
I don't know why it wouldn't. M1 chip.
Yeah.
Way faster than the A15, and yet they could have given it to the pros. But
I mean, we all have the same blurred out background with it being processed. I don't see why that couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's like the calculator or,
Oh
or
God,
the
the
weather
calculator.
app.
And that is why
possible,
an iPad
yes.
is still an iPad.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest reason. Like, if you use an iPad Mini as a phone, you don't have a calculator.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
And
you got to do
app.
the spotlight search.
I love Apple's stock weather app, and for them to not put it on iPad, like even as a widget, an interactive widget, that's the thing I always thought iPad was going to do with widgets. Is I thought we were going to have one where you can engage with the widget right there on the spot.
Yeah.
The way it used to be when you would slide over and you could just interact really quickly for quick gestures and features. My Philips Hue had a preset in the widget section, on, off, start my Tesla, cool down the cabin, or lock it, honk it. You know, like little things. I was hoping that would roll over to when you go on your home screen with widgets for iOS and iPadOS, that you could just click on things and doesn't have to open it up. Just do the thing right there on the spot. But it's not there yet. Maybe iOS 16 or something, but
they're saving it for some random update, so it can be a big deal. Now there's a now playing widget, and you can control the music without having to go to Control Center or something.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
How do you feel now? let's recap iPadOS, I guess specifically. What is it missing to make you be like, okay, I forgive the software team? What's you got your ProRes. macOS. That's it, just macOS.
Pro apps would be nice, like a Final Cut or a Logic or Xcode would be great. We've got ProRes, which honestly is quite a game changer for me because LumaFusion's excellent, and I don't think Final Cut would be a deal breaker or make or break the iPad. Better file management. For me, still external webcam is a big deal for live streaming. Just being able to plug in a cam link or something and say, okay, not anymore because I'm using a webcam. Maybe I should just get used to webcams on everything. But
don't.
Yeah, that's macOS. That's a big one.
For me,
calculator weather would be good though.
macOS, I guess, is the all-encompassing. I would like to see iPad in the software side give you true multiple windows that you can have, like window
Sure.
management, if that's a thing, is what I want. File management, absolutely, but I want to be able to have a OBS equivalent for something while I'm on a FaceTime call, while I'm taking notes. If we could do the show on iPad with no changes to our productivity on how we do it, that to me is an indicator that says the software has caught up. And my fear is that we just won't see that. So I don't know if I can commit the same way. And that will make me want to lean into the iPad mini more because it's trade-offs for the things that I'm willing to compromise. But I guess the real trade-off is just stick with what I got because I already paid for it and just save money that way. So
yeah, you already have that.
Yeah,
that's true. I was thinking to myself too. I was like, if I'm taking an iPad on the go, maybe I should just edit off my 2018 iPad Pro. Right? It's like not much wrong with it. Still got Face ID. Still got 120 hertz.
Yeah. Still
there
got LumaFusion.
Just edit on that. Still got LumaFusion, and I was very impressed with the editing workflow. Didn't need the keyboard case. Yeah, it's bizarre that they decided to wait so long on ProRes. I feel like they could have made much more sales that way if they would have started with that. But for them to be like, okay, we'll only do it if the iPhone gets it first, and then we'll bring it to the iPad. It's like
it makes no sense to me.
I don't get it either. But
how many of you guys are going to get Apple Watch?
I mean, pending sale, contingency offer.
Oh man, I'm getting more excited.
I've had
about
a few
it.
offers.
The more I look at the Series 7, the more I'm like, yep, I want this. Yep,
I dig it. I'm actually wondering if I'm gonna dig the design so much that I want iPhones to go back to the rounded design so that they're more comfortable and the display is spilling over the edge. You imagine an iPhone 11 with the Series 7 style bezels? That thing would look gorgeous.
With the same color.
And
too.
Apple gets really, really good finger rejection. They figure out how to not set off the display when you pick it up.
Well, I was reading that effect of the spillover is an illusion because of how the information is shooting straight up. So the things that you would be touching on the side,
and the glass like distorts it.
It distorts it without having it warp the same way. So the data, the touch input is still just up and down the same, but the way the glass that the not the fragments, but yeah, the way it's distorting, but it doesn't warp the image of it. That within itself could be the right way for finger rejection because there's no input happening on the side. All the information has to be right directly onto the screen itself, and that's no different than the screens that we have now on the watch, except they're taken over by bezels instead of more.
I don't care what illusions you got to do to shrink the bezels, but I'm for it. Like,
yeah.
If it's a magic act to make it look like that, then do that magic, Apple, because I dig it. I can't wait to see one, and I hope that we don't have to wait too much longer. I'm sure it's going to be like a month or so. But I just texted you guys a cinematic video I recorded while we were recording because I wanted to show you how it was looking and working for me, which I thought was looking pretty good.
Oh. Sneaky thing. You went that far back. That looks actually really good.
That does look really good.
So that's what I've been testing it with.
Your hair's
just, like,
still a
pointing
little
it at
fuzzy,
me and
but
filming.
Yeah, your hair has some noticing on it, but I'm actually paying more attention to how blurred out your chair is compared to your wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like different focal lengths.
And the way the mic has a little bit of.
And it's so perfect to view this on the iPad Mini.
Yeah, you've got a great canvas there, don't you?
You're fun.
I am in love with this thing.
Honestly, the clarity though, just take cinematic features away. Looking how much clarity there is. Is this the front-facing camera?
No.
Okay.
But I did a cinematic with the front, and it was very similar. I didn't notice a big difference.
The clarity just on how clean your face is, that it looks so sharp that I pause on the video and I punch in, and this is it compressed in iMessage and in a preview.
Yeah.
I'm watching it as a preview.
Yeah.
It looks better than some YouTube videos.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's the best 1080 at 30 film I've ever seen from an iPhone.
If you told me this was 4K, I would have believed you because I have no way of verifying anyway.
Yeah. You got to press the little I.
Yeah.
But I'm impressed with it so far. I know that it's not perfect, but like for that use case of like you're planning on doing videos where you're just talking to a camera, I think it's going to be very good at that. If you're trying to recreate a feature film, that's probably when it's a bit more challenging to get the rack focus stuff down.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. I'll do a whole TV skit on cinematic mode, maybe.
I want to do it. You just motivated me to do it. I don't know how. However you said it, you just kind of motivated me to do it. What's up, Nick? Talk to me. How you feeling, man? You're so quiet.
Okay, yeah, I know I've been
in a mini coma.
I'm in a mini coma at the moment. I'm not sure how I feel about the Apple Pencil, to be honest. I just downloaded Notability and I was thinking around with it. The Mini is not for Apple Pencil. It's too small. Like,
really?
The full-sized canvas of the full iPad Pro is much easier to deal with because, like, my palm takes up half of the iPad screen, which means I can really only write on like the other half of it. Now, maybe you wouldn't notice it as much.
Owners right now are like,
what? You can have your palm on the screen and see the screen at the same time? What?
8.3 inches isn't big enough for a stylus?
What's a stylus?
How much does it need to be?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit on this. Like, this is...
No, it'll bend.
No.
You're ugly for that.
True.
Terrible.
I literally haven't touched this Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max, in like 20 minutes, and I don't even care about it.
Just don't throw it.
I just want to play with the Mini some more. Like,
I'm excited for like a week update from Nick.
This is. I might have to do an Ann Sweeney live on this. This might be so eventful.
Ooh, interesting. Did you get your eSIM or data hooked up
to the Mini
for cellular on the Mini?
Not on the Mini yet. No,
yeah.
I can at any time though. And
you should do it. Of all people,
yeah.
I don't really have the resources to do iPad Mini as a phone challenge, but I think you do. You've got AT&T, you've got a cellular watch.
Yeah, I might do it.
Or
So the other thing, like, sorry, million thoughts are going through my head. Even back to the old iPad Pros, like the big ones. I'm a left-handed person, so I hold the iPad with my right hand, and I interact with it with my left hand. That's the most natural way for me to hold it. But the Apple Pencil was always in the way. And even back with the old iPad Pros, I'd still be almost bumping the pencil off just because I'm holding it with my right hand and touching it with my left. And with the iPad Mini, with the Apple Pencil here, it is really hard to use with the Apple Pencil. So, you know,
turn it around.
Yeah, it does.
I would almost.
It takes up the whole.
Yeah, you could do it upside down, I guess, but then the camera and the ports are all backwards, and I'd feel weird.
You just need to become right-handed, Nick.
That's it.
All right. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. No, I don't know. I love the iPad Mini. I'm not a fan of the Apple Pencil and iPad Mini at the moment. I'm gonna have to dink around with it, but this is all I ever wanted. Apple. Thank you, Tim. You took me.
Would you prefer a mini golf?
Mini golf pencil? Probably not. Like, probably not. The iPad Pro is more of a laptop replacement, so it goes into a bag. And the bag is easier to keep track of your pencil that detaches because the magnets aren't actually as secure as Apple makes it seem to be. But the Mini goes in my pocket, and that's really hard to keep the pencil attached. And I wouldn't want to lose my $100 pencil. So
my skinny jeans
so
could not handle.
It's not meant for one, but it does fit.
He's doing it. Oh, back pocket. That's how you.
Not
bend
the
it.
back. Oh, Nick. Heavens, no.
No.
Don't sit down.
No, Nick. No.
Don't do it. We're gonna hear crack.
No, it's perfectly fine. Look at that.
It's perfectly fine.
Oh man.
No. Oh my God, you're making me nervous.
Yeah, that gave me anxiety.
Sheesh. My goodness.
I could
Closing thoughts, gentlemen.
This, yeah. iPad Mini
Should
challenge, perhaps.
You should do it. Should I unbox my stuff on this channel, or should I do it on my individual channel when I get my stuff? Since I thought I'd have it by now.
Why not?
We have everything to gain from you doing it on this channel.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing to gain from you doing it on your own channel, so. Do it on your channel.
All right, come on, do it on the podcast channel so we can get our cut. I don't.
Just like Apple.
Just like Apple.
Now you unboxed the HomePod Minis, right? And I think the iPhone Pro, right? The 12.
No, but
Pro?
you did your hype stream on your personal channel.
Yeah.
I did.
I don't know.
And I think
do what you want, Randy. Use the channel if you want.
Yeah. If you want to do it on podcast, you might get a few more people watching, but who cares? You got the loyal people on your personal account, so at it.
Knowing my luck, I don't know if I'm gonna get my stuff until the very end of day, which will be still afternoon for you guys, but latest for me is 7 p.m.
I'm so sorry.
This is weird.
Every year one of us is missing.
Never again. Now that I know this is how it is, I will go to the Apple Store and just pick it up directly, and I'm okay with that.
I really hope we can all have it for one podcast someday.
We will.
We'll get there.
We will, especially for MacBook and everything else.
I just won't buy the 14. That'll be the problem.
You'll buy it to review.
That's true. I will review it at least.
Yeah, that's how I'm treating these because I'm not so. Well, I have nothing to be sold on just yet, but I'm not convinced. Nick was kind of spot on about me possibly sticking with 11 Pro.
Dude, that with the Series 7.
Yes, and your Tesla.
Yeah. And my Tesla.
Oh,
do it.
and your shirt.
Because honestly, this is still the best feeling. It's the best feeling in the hand. I can't.
This is still kind of sharp.
And heavy.
Yeah. And heavy. As we spoke,
my ideal design, I think, would be flat front, rounded back.
Hey, there's something. Yeah. Unless they can spill over the display like they do with the Apple Watch.
Oh, that too. I'd love to see a concept art. Some concept artists out there. Apple eye designer Michael, you should make a. There's another Mike. You should make a iPhone 11 concept with Series 7 bezels where it like spills over the edge. I think that would look dope. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will give you a retweet and a like. Nothing more.
Nothing more. Nothing less. You look happy.
This is
Nick.
gorgeous.
I'm happy.
This is
I'm
gorgeous.
happy. You're happy. And
I'm
happy.
I'm so
he's
quiet
happy.
because like
It like loops.
yes.
Yeah.
It does.
Whoa.
It does.
It like repeats
Yep.
when you hold.
Everybody's happy
That's
today.
so weird.
Drew got his promotion. Nick's got his dream iPad. Randy is dead inside a little bit. This is great.
No, but like
Everyone,
I've been so
thoughts
quiet
and
since the
prayers for Randy.
iPad Mini came because like it took me off guard, and now I'm not in show mode. I'm in like wonderful Apple product mode, and like I'm so.
Nick isn't gonna sleep tonight.
I'm not.
He's just
no.
gonna stare at it.
I'm gonna be staring at it all night long. Good thing this thing's battery life had. This thing came with 84%, and we're only at 81% right now. So this thing has a good battery too.
If it outperforms the 13 Pro Max battery. Because I think the 13 Pro Max has a better battery than the Mini, right? Yeah.
I mean,
rated technically.
literally the iPad. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I think I saw a battery test where the Pro Max got like 10 hours screen on time. iPad Mini is more like 7 or 8.
The Pro Max is heavier than the Mini with an Apple Pencil.
Is it? I thought someone looked this up.
Or maybe a few grams, but it feels heavier. It's denser.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It feels heavier, but I think it's because the weight is distributed more centrally on the phone. Let me end the show on a fact check.
Okay.
I'll check the...
It'll be real close.
Well, no, 13 Pro Max is 240 grams, right?
Okay.
We figured that out before.
240 grams, got it.
So I'll check iPad Mini. 297 grams.
Okay.
So almost...
It's significantly
they're within 50
heavier.
grams.
Yeah. Still, that's a fair amount.
Very close.
But it feels better.
The Wi-Fi model is 293. So...
That SIM card. It's huge.
Within
huge.
53 grams of each other. Feels very close.
I love this
It all adds up.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next week with more long-term opinions. And I will go extensively in-depth on Center Stage. Not Center Stage and Cinematic Mode.
Yes.
And Randy will have his items, hopefully.
Still waiting.
Nick will still be drooling over the Mini. Both Minis. I'm not switching.
What? No, man. Okay. Take care, all. Bye-bye. Have a good week. Air power's dead.